problem that I often see in companies, that they have for example, a CSOs, a Chief Sustainability Officer, or they have a kind of a team working on the ESGs.
Yeah.
Yet often this is completely disconnected from what's happening in the teams.
Exactly.
Or you could even say it's disconnected from the value creation of the company. So the ESG teams and the CSOs typically focus more on, I don't know, how we do the reporting, or like very, I don't know, stuff that's far away from the people. And that's also what I see when I go to companies, that when I ask them about, well, what about this last sustainability report, they more or less roll their eyes and say like, oh, this has nothing to do with what we are doing here. And it is true. And this is kind of the one fight or whatever that I'm willing to take on, to work on that disconnect and close the gap so that it makes sense altogether, and that really sustainability is built in the value creation of the companies. And now back to Agile here, there I see two ways. So one is maybe a little bit outside of companies, maybe not, which is sustainability by Agile, which means that we offer whatever we learned in Agile and help other like projects, companies, most often nonprofits, to be more successful with that knowledge that we are having. And there's like one example last year, together with Steve Hollier, we worked on for a nonprofit organization that's focusing on the climate change, and we helped them creating their next campaign by using story mapping, event storming, open space, all of that. We know how these things work, and this is actually the thing that Sally Ann Freudenberg was doing kind of as her first step as well. I think she was working for the Extinction Rebellions. I'm not 100% sure, but she was helping them with everything she learned in Agile, right? Beautiful. So this is sustainability by Agile, but then there's also sustainability in Agile, which means that we should look at what we are doing, and are we actually doing more harm than that we improve stuff? Is the software that we are creating really inclusive, for example, looking at the social part? Or if we look at the environmental part, which is what's actually the carbon footprint of the software that we are creating? And is it getting worse with every delivery that we are doing here? And how does it improve the lives of everyone everywhere? Definitely the people, well, this is the area I'm living in, the people who worked on the software for the Dieselgate. Yes. I'm not sure if this improved the lives of everyone everywhere. And software is just everywhere. And we have a footprint in an environmental way, in a prosperity way, in a social way. And we should really start doing something about that and being more aware of it. Cool.
I like what you said there. And the reasons I like it is the first one, sustainable by Agile. That's lending competitive advantage.
Yes.
And the agility is competitive advantage. That's why it's a multi-billion-pound industry global. Yeah.
Exactly.
And by gifting that, it's a huge way of accelerating that value creation, which I love. The second one, a little personal story. I've got a little community of practice that we've got. There's about 20 of us. We meet every day and talk about a topic on WhatsApp. And the topics are coming from the newer members. And today's topic was from my good friend Joanna Masraf. And it's what are we doing about sustainability and software development? And I need to go and catch up with the chat, because the chat happens all day. But my comment this morning was, I can't think of any time anyone's ever asked that in my, 35 years of working in tech. not one team, not one board, not one CTO,